Hi you guys, how are we all? I hope you are doing well. I'm excited for today's video because we're going to be talking about assumptions you have about me. I'm always a very curious person. I always want to know like what's going on in people's heads and what they're thinking. I even contemplated becoming a psychologist. I took a ton of psychology classes and human development classes in college, and I just really found it super fascinating. So I fell down the rabbit hole on YouTube of watching these, and I thought they were really entertaining, so I asked you guys if you wanted to see them, and you guys did too. So I thought I would do like my own spin on it because I feel like playing around with makeup today. So I thought I would just like be applying products, doing my makeup, and we will go through all the assumptions you guys had about me. I want to thank you guys because I didn't get any mean assumptions, which I was super shocked by. I feel like the internet is sometimes a little bit of a rough place, and I kind of anticipated putting myself out there in this way I would get some of that negative feedback, but it's actually a really positive experience, and you guys had really funny and really interesting assumptions about me, some true, some not, so we will get into it. Okay, so I'm just going to start off by prepping my skin, and I'm going to lose track of mentioning the product, so I'm just going to say everything will be linked down below if you guys want to know what I'm actually applying to my skin. This is a new product for me though. This is the Alpine Beauty Plant Genius Survival Serum. So I thought I would start with this. I just kind of pulled products that I haven't used in a while or that I felt like playing around with. So I went through and I tried to like group together the most popular assumptions about me. So that's what I'll be talking about today. So if I didn't hit your assumption, it's not because I didn't see it, but it's just because maybe not everyone asked about it or it was a less popular one, but I'll try and get to as many as I can. So the first assumption was that I like alone time. And that is totally true. I don't know how you guys picked up on that. Maybe because I have like a relatively quiet personality, but I am someone who, I'm like an introverted extrovert. I like being around other people and I really enjoy it, but I don't like recharge that way. I recharge by just like being on my own. I'm actually going to start on my eyes while I let that kind of sink in. But I recharge by being on my own and kind of just like having my own space and my own downtime. I've always been that way. I get really overwhelmed by large groups of people. I'm definitely someone who likes to connect with people more one-on-one than like in a massive group. That for me gets really exhausting really quickly. Not that I don't like enjoy it sometimes, but that's just the majority of times. I think if I'm really trying to get to know someone, I like to just do it one-on-one. So you guys are definitely onto something. Also, I don't have any brow gel left. I have to get some more, so that's why I'm not putting anything in my brows. But yeah, definitely recharge when I'm alone, and I've always been someone who can really entertain myself. Like I don't really need anyone or anything to entertain myself. I can do it on my own. I think that's part of being like the youngest and third child. You're kind of like, you know, you got to figure it out because everyone's got a lot going on, so you have to figure out how to entertain yourself, and I've never had an issue with that. I got like a couple of comments along those lines like you're a quiet person, which totally I am. I'm definitely more of a listener than a talker. It's almost kind of funny that I do videos like this because I swear it's more than I talk in normal life. I really prefer to listen to people. I like to ask questions. Like I said, I'm a curious person, so if you guys ever run into me, you'll probably notice that like I'll ask you a lot about yourself, but I don't talk that much. I'm not really sure why that is, but that's just kind of my personality. And another assumption that I got is that I'm quite reserved. And I would say in some ways yes and in some ways no. Like, you know, I'm putting videos out there on the internet, so I'm probably a little bit more reserved than I am in my real life. I don't swear. I never have. I've never been someone who really swears. I don't know, maybe it's because my parents never really did. I just never picked it up, so only on the rare occasion where I'm feeling like a little feisty, a little sassy, I'll let something slip, but I don't know. I've never been someone who really swears that much. I have nothing against people who do. It just has always felt like really unnatural coming out of my mouth. So maybe that'll change. I guess we'll see. But yeah, so I'd say like language-wise, pretty reserved, I guess if you want to call it that. Like other than that, not really. I think I just like people assumed I'm just kind of a quiet person, so I don't really have a judgment to how anyone else acts. I think like it's really fun to be around different types of people and people who like have different attitudes towards stuff than I do. But I'll probably just be the quiet one in the group who's just like watching and taking it all in. I think people watching is probably one of my favorite activities. So next one was from Reagan, actually. So Reagan Hart, we did a collaboration together, and she knows me too well. She said that you really want a dog, and that is very true. I do really want a dog. I absolutely love dogs. I have my whole life. In fact, I wanted a dog so much when I was little that for about 7 years, I was trying to convince my parents to get a dog, and then they finally caved. So it wasn't just like, Mom, Dad, I want a dog. It was like I was writing essays, I was reading every single book in the library about dogs, and coming home every single day with like a little paragraph, this was in elementary school, to tell them about why I needed a dog and how it was good for your health and all of that sort of stuff. I used to leave little notes around their house, like hide them in their drawers and like under their pillows so that they would fall asleep, and it'd be like, fun fact about a dog, like, do you know that like I will get more exercise, I will, you know, all of these little facts to try and convince them. So I have always wanted a dog, always imagined my life with a dog. And then we got a dog when I was younger. After the 7 years, like I said, they finally caved and we got one. And then now in my adult life, I really would like a dog. Both my sisters have dogs, but I'm sort of very much in like transition. I don't really know what my future next few years are gonna hold and where I'm gonna be and all that sort of stuff and what job I'm gonna have. And so I just felt like it's not the right time for me to get a dog, because I want to be really responsible when I do get a dog. I want to be able to like really take care of the dog and give it the best life that I possibly can. And I know at this very moment, I probably won't be able to. So I'm just kind of like waiting. I'm trying to resist the urge, but yes, I absolutely would love a dog. So I'm just using some neutral colors just to sculpt out my eyes a little bit, because I'm going to be going in with some colors today. I got a couple of assumptions about Jared and I, and one of them that was popular was that we've been together for a long time, and that's true. We've been together, well, I guess it depends how you look at it, but in my opinion, that's true. We've been together for about 4.5, a little over 4.5 years. So that's a pretty long time. I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes really quick so I can kind of get that out of the way before I lay everything down. Next assumption was that I'm close with my family, and I actually am. That's a very true assumption. So you guys know me pretty well. I feel like a lot of them have been true so far. But I am both like emotionally and physically close to my family. We all live pretty close to each other at this moment. And it's really fun. I think like it's really nice to be close with your family, and I feel super lucky to be close with my family because I know not everyone is. But yeah, I love them all a lot, and we all get along pretty well, so there's really no complaints. I'm pretty close with them. I'm just going to be laying some shadows down with my fingers because they transfer better that way, and then I'm going to be going back in with a brush to kind of blend them out, so bear with me for a little. The next thing that you guys assumed is that I eat really healthy all the time, which unfortunately I wish I could say is true, but it's really not true, and it's something that I'm very conscious of and I'm trying to work on as hard as possible. I was diagnosed with celiac disease, so it's an autoimmune disease, and it means that I can't have gluten. I was diagnosed when I was about 10 years old, and so ever since I was diagnosed, people are always like, oh, you're gluten-free, you must be so healthy. And unfortunately, they make things like gluten-free donuts, they make things like gluten-free bread, really yummy treats that I totally love. And so I would say that I am definitely not the healthiest person that there is. And I have a huge sweet tooth. I love desserts, always have my whole life. I also really like to eat out, and that is not the healthiest lifestyle because you don't have a lot of control with, you know, how much of everything that you're getting, and I enjoy very good tasting food that's not necessarily the healthiest. So yeah, so I would say I'm actually not a super healthy eater. When I cook at home, I try and be as healthy as possible. And that's why I'm trying not to eat out quite as much. One, because of, you know, it's really expensive, so budget-wise, it's a little bit challenging to eat out. Also too, because when I cook at home, I'm a lot healthier. I'm just gonna tie my hair up a little bit so it's out of my face. I'd actually say between the two of us, Jared is much healthier than I am. He's really good at like exercising every single day. He's really good at like picking the healthier option over what just tastes good, and I am sort of the opposite. So but it is something I'm aware of and something that I'm working on. The next assumption about me was that I'm vegetarian, and I am definitely not vegetarian. I eat meat, and I have my whole life. I totally admire people who are vegetarian. I think for me it would be a real challenge because meat has kind of, I don't know, I'm just so used to eating it, and who knows, maybe one day I'll try it, maybe one day I won't. I think what's interesting about being in the clean beauty space is that people kind of look at you as one thing, like, oh, you're into clean beauty, so you must also be vegan or vegetarian, or, you know, you must meditate every single day, or all that. And although health and wellness is a really big part of my life and I try my hardest to take care of myself, I don't live in one sphere. So kind of like a balancing act for me, right? Like I'm really into clean beauty. I'm really into what I put on my skin and all of that. But like I was just saying, like, you know, I don't eat perfectly healthy every single day. Not every meal is a salad or vegetable based. So I think it's really important, and what I feel like I'm learning much more is that you don't ever want to put someone in a box. And as soon as you start to put someone in a box and you tell them, well, if you're into clean beauty, then you must be into XYZ, you're making that lifestyle choice unsustainable for them, right? Like everyone needs to come at stuff in their own way so that they can sustain the lifestyle and kind of come at it where they can, and, you know, make conscious choices where they can, but not beat themselves up if they're not like the perfect pinnacle of what everyone else wants them to be. I hope that makes sense. I think basically what I'm saying is that I feel like I've often found myself being really quick to put people in boxes, and as I've grown up and gotten older, I feel like there's no need to do that. That people can exist in so many different worlds and spheres and out of the box, in the box, whatever they want, as long as it's not harming others and all that good stuff. The next assumption that I got was a lot of people said, based off of the clothes that I wear, that I make a lot of money. And I thought this was a really interesting idea because I think it just goes to show how much value we put on kind of like labeled clothing and all of that. But what I would say is that I live in a really expensive area, and I actually don't make that much money in my area. I certainly make enough to be comfortable and happy, and with a little excess on the side. But what I actually do is I just spend my money really, I don't know if wisely is the word, but especially when it comes to clothes, I buy quality pieces that I know I will absolutely love for years and years and years. Like I have stuff in my wardrobe from like 7, 8, 10 years ago that's still in great condition and I wear all the time. Or I buy stuff that's on sale. So I either buy like, you know, relatively expensive high quality pieces, like I said, that I know I'll wear over and over and over again, that will last for a really long time, that I love for a really long time, or I buy things that are on sale or at a secondhand shop. And I feel like I'm just a smart shopper, which it's something that I'm proud of. I don't spend that much money. I'm pretty good at not spending money on things. I spend a lot of money on food, and I would say that that's more where my budget goes, and that's why I'm trying to be better about budgeting. If any of you have some tips for budgeting, let me know in the comments. The next assumption that I got quite a few times is that I want to do YouTube full-time. And this is actually an interesting one because I think as of recently, I've really been going back and forth on it. I really like doing these videos that I do, and I really feel like the community that we have here is really supportive and sweet, and I just have a lot of fun, and I would never want that to go away, if that makes sense. So if I could do this full time and still feel like it was a really positive experience and still feel inspired and motivated to make videos, not just because it was my job, but because I really enjoy it, then yeah, I'd love to do it full time. But if it ever became a negative space, if it ever became something like I started to dread and feel like, ugh, I have to do this, I have to do that, then I definitely wouldn't want to do that because who wants that? I also think it's kind of an interesting time because, you know, I started watching YouTube, especially beauty videos, when they were first, when they had just first started, and when there's only like 2 or 3 people who were doing it. And I think the space has changed a lot. In some ways, definitely for the better. Like, you know, people look at this as a real career choice. People are more understanding that content creators have to make money somehow off of their videos or else they're not able to do it, really. But in other ways, it's also become quite a negative space, and there's a lot more like drama and politics and who knows who and who's friends with who's on the bad side of who, and that's all something that I would love to avoid. So if my space ever started to feel that way, then I would be definitely out. But it's definitely not that kind of space right now, so I am really enjoying it. So I'll probably go back and touch up my eyes after I'm done my base, but I think it's finally time to move on. Caught a lot of assumptions about sports that I play or played, and I will tell you guys, okay, here's my thing. I'm not unathletic, I'm a little uncoordinated, and I totally not down for competition. I know some people really thrive when there's like, you know, stuff at stake or like a big game or something like that, but that was never me ever. So when I did play sports, it was when I was younger, and it was stuff that was individual. It was stuff like tennis or cross country or track. I tried to do hurdles, and that was also a mistake, not coordinated enough for that. But stuff where, you know, you don't have a whole team relying on you, that was my kind of sport. So I feel so bad if like a ball goes past me or if I let the team down or something like that, which I always remember my dad used to be my athletic coach when I was little, you know, when you do like little kid sports, and I did pretty much everything. I did like basketball, soccer, all of that good stuff. And he used to say, you know, got past everyone else first if you were like the goalie. So don't worry about it. It's not your fault. But oh man, I would always take it to heart, and I would feel like I let everyone down and everyone was going to be so mad at me. So yeah, so it's not that I don't wish that I played sports or I'm particularly like unathletic. I'm just mildly uncoordinated and don't like the pressure of competition and team sports. You guys also sent in some very sweet messages, like you guys feel like I have a pure heart or I'm a good person, that I work really hard, and I just want to say thank you for all of that, because that's just like a huge vote of confidence, especially the comments that I got about working really hard. That meant a lot, because definitely like I said, I absolutely love doing these videos and I wouldn't do them if I didn't enjoy it. But they are a lot of work, and they take away from free time or time I would spend with friends or family. And so it means a lot that you guys are appreciative of the hard work and the hours that I spend doing them. It's funny, I also got a lot of assumptions about my age. Maybe I'm just like very ambiguously aged. Some people thought I was a lot older than I am, and some people thought that I was a lot younger. The next one was actually a funny one for me because my answer changes so frequently. But someone asked, or someone assumed that I one day want my own beauty company. And I think if you would have asked me this, I don't know, like maybe like a year ago, I would have said yes. But now I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, owning your own company is a really big deal. You're responsible for a lot of people. You are ultimately the kind of like fall man if something goes wrong. You know, it's really on you. And I think especially being a public figure on the internet, it makes it that much harder because people really scrutinize you and kind of like wait and look for you to fall, which is a really unfortunate thing. So I'd never say never. I would say if I ever did come out with a makeup range, I would just want, like, whatever products I put out, I just would want them to be done really well. That's, I mean, I know that everyone would want that, right? But I would just want people to be like, wow, like this has so much thought behind it. This really works for so many different types of people. So yeah, so I'll never say never. But at this very moment, I always think to myself, like, how funny it was that I used to really feel like that's what I wanted. I wanted my own company, whether it be in makeup or something else. And now I'm kind of like, it's a lot of responsibility. I don't know how I would feel about that, but you never know. So we'll see. And I would just hope that you guys know that if I ever did something, I would do it like with my full heart, full attention, and it'd be the best that I could possibly make it. So that's all I will say on that. I took my hair down because I'm just going to apply some lipstick and then do some finishing touches. But the other assumption that I got is that I like to try and eat a lot of different foods. I would say for the most part that's true. I'm definitely curious about different types of foods, but I have my favorites. Really, for me, I just love super flavorful food. So anything that has a lot of flavor to it, I love. Unfortunately, I'm not like the easiest person to go out to eat with because I do have a lot of like dietary restrictions and allergies. But if I find a place that can be accommodating of that and is like willing to work with me on stuff, then yes, I will eat pretty much anything. And the last assumption I think we will get to today is that I'm from a small town. And I actually don't think I am. I'm from like a city. Not like a city, but yeah, pretty large. I feel like it was pretty large. It wasn't like particularly small. I'll have to look up the exact population, but it's like a middle-sized place. But I've always been kind of like a big city person. I like when there's a lot going on, and as I mentioned, I love people watching, and there's no better place to watch people than in a big city because you can just camp out at a park and sit on a bench and you will be entertained for hours. All right, so that is the finished look, and that is as many assumptions as I'm gonna get to today. If you guys like this video or if you have more assumptions, let me know, and maybe we can do a round 2 or a part 2. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was fun to play around with a little bit of color today and just to chit chat with you guys. I hope you're all doing well, and thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for videos always featuring clean green beauty. Otherwise, thank you all for keeping this a very positive video. Like I said, I really thought that there'd be like a mix of comments, but everyone was very sweet and really nice. So thank you for that, and thank you for submitting assumptions, and I will see you all very soon. All right guys, thanks for watching. Bye.